In goal, Dave Besant. Memories revived then for him of the 1988 FA Cup final. He was the first goalkeeper to captain a cup final team here. Across the back, Gareth Hall, the Welsh international, who's keeping out Scotland's Steve Clarke. Clarke is fit again, but Gareth Hall has got the vote. In the middle, Erland Johnsen of Norway, Kenneth Montcow of Holland, and England international Tony Dorigo on the left. Three in midfield, Kevin McAllister, the man who's been playing so well lately, and two experienced men alongside him in the engine room, John Bumstead and Peter Nicholas. Bumstead, who played in the Full Members' Cup winning side of '86, and Nicholas, for all his years in the game, featuring in his first Wembley final. And the three men up front, Kerry Dixon, Gordon Durie and Kevin Wilson. Dixon and Wilson 18 goals apiece, and Durie well on the way back to his sharpest form. Well, now a look at the Middlesbrough side. The goal for them will be Stephen Pears. A full recovery by him from the injury that kept him out earlier in the season. Across the back, Gary Parkinson, Alec Kernahan, replacing the injured Tony Mowbray, Simon Coleman, the man who started in so well in place of Gary Pallister, now with Manchester United, of course. And at left back, Colin Cooper, another who's fit again after a lengthy layoff. In midfield, young Owen McGee, just 19 years old. What a day for him. 3 months ago, he was playing reserve team football. Alongside him, Mark Proctor, he'll be the Middlesbrough captain then, Mark Brennan and Peter Davenport. And the two up front, Stuart Ripley, restored to the side with Ian Baird cup-tied, and Bernie Slaven, what a threat he'll pose to Chelsea. 25 goals for Middlesbrough so far this season. Here's the referee then, Roger Milford from Bristol, experienced referee. He took charge of the Littlewoods Cup final last season, and has also refereed the final of the Sherpa Van Trophy as it was then. Well, we've had hail and rain, but now we have sunshine, although a little cloudy over part of the pitch here anyway, a shadow below the stand here as the formalities continue before the kick-off. Well, Ron Atkinson, we've had the year of the underdog so far with the likes of Tyson, the England cricket team, Desert Orchid beaten. Can it happen again today?
Of course it can happen. It can happen, particularly if Middlesbrough play the way they did as we saw them against Aston Villa, when from the word go they set out to close down Aston Villa's style of play, worked extremely hard all over the pitch, and that's what they'll have to do today. Can it happen? It's certainly the task is formidable. Chelsea playing as well as anyone in the first division at the moment.
Well, they might need a goal or two from Bernie Slaven. What about him as a prospect there?
Yes, well, I mean, Bernie Slaven always seems to weigh in with a goal, but so does the fellow that's just about to kick off, Kerry Dixon. So we've got some good goal scorers on the pitch.
And nice to see so many smiles around Wembley. I think everyone has come here determined to enjoy the occasion, and we hope that you will too at home, watching this final of the Zenith Cup live on Sky. It'll be Chelsea in the all-blue strip to kick off, attacking the goal to our right. Middlesbrough in red shirts and white shorts. Chelsea, who, as we've heard, have had a fairly comfortable passage to the final. Middlesbrough have had to battle all the way, and they intend to let no one down this afternoon. Roger Milford just checking that all is well. A few more nervous seconds here for the players, but at last we're underway. Nicholas for Chelsea. Here's Kevin McAllister. Gareth Hall, perhaps a surprise in some people's eyes that he's in the team ahead of Steve Clarke. But Gareth Hall scored in the area final over Crystal Palace, the win over Crystal Palace. And he really has been in outstanding form lately, and Bobby Campbell has given him the nod. I think that raised an eyebrow from you, Ron.
Yes, I must admit, because I've got the highest regard for Clarke. Obviously, Bobby Campbell has decided to go along with Hall, as you say, has been playing very well. He certainly played well in the semi-final games against the Palace, and has got a good little understanding with McAllister on the right-hand side of midfield.
80,000 in the stadium. The first all-seater Wembley final. And there's the first touch for Dave Besant. Saved a penalty, of course, in that 1988 FA Cup final win for Wimbledon over Liverpool. An unfortunate miss by John Aldridge. Here's Wilson. I think the balloon got in the way there, but here's Davenport. His skills will be important for Middlesbrough. And as we expected, they pushed Ripley up front with Slaven, with McGee wide on the right-hand side and Davenport probing from the left. Stuart Ripley, who has exceptional pace, but hadn't been a regular in the side since the arrival of Ian Baird, who's cup-tied. Header on was from Dixon. McAllister challenging with Cooper. Way by Kernahan. This is Hall. Now Brennan. And the tackle was an unfair one. So free kick to Middlesbrough. His league form has certainly slipped away since they won through to the final. But they had him around this success in midweek at Plymouth. And of course their priority is to stay in the second division. Yes, much as they want to win today, in the words of their chairman, this is regarded really as a family wedding, a day out for them. And Tony Mowbray, well, I'm sure everyone is delighted to see him here, even though he's not actually taking part in the game. Proctor to Ripley. And Davenport here in support. Good tackle though by Hall. That will do his confidence no harm. Davenport taking the throw quickly. Ripley trying to squirm away from Hall. And again, that was determined defending from the Welsh international. Brennan. Too long, over the head of Montcow and Slaven. Safety through to Besant, who was hoping to send Wilson away. But composed defending this time from Parkinson. So the two number twos making their early mark. Free header for Bumstead. Hooper's pass was a poor one. Off goes Dixon in pursuit. And I wonder how Middlesbrough are going to cope with this threesome up front. Dixon, Wilson and Dury.
Yes, at the moment, Peter, it must be a vote of confidence for Kevin Wilson, who's had a super season. The fact that he's been elected to play as the striker alongside Dixon. And Dury, in fact, has been asked to play in a very, very wide left-hand side position.
And this is Dury now. Good tackle, though, by McGee. The 19-year-old. And that was positive enough. Product of the youth training scheme at Ayresome Park. Proctor with the pass, finding Slaven. That's Buxton, biting in with the tackle, and again. They're the two anchor men, Bumstead and Nicholas, in the midfield for Chelsea. They're going to win possession for them, as Colin Todd will be only too well aware. And he'll be hoping that marking is tied at the back too on these troublesome Chelsea strikers. Davenport losing out to Hall. Erlen Janssen, the Norwegian international. No goals so far, 5 minutes into the final of the Zenith Cup. Chelsea against Middlesbrough. These pictures coming to you live on Sky Television. Dixon going through, and he was just beaten at the last end by Kernahan. And that was a very important challenge then from the Middlesbrough defender. At full stretch to deny Kerry Dixon. And I think the referee wants to change the ball. Roger Milford isn't happy with that one. So the first substitution of the game is made, and it's to football.
But I think that you saw straight away there, Peter, that Kerry Dixon signalled his intent. He will represent the main threat, as we've seen in other games that Chelsea have played the part in. Middlesbrough, two young central defenders. Coleman's been very impressive in the run-up to the final. He'll need to be bang at his best today.
Here's the corner then, to be taken by Nicholas. Montcow on the near post. It's flicked on by Dixon. Oh! Dury's shot was charged down. Away goes Ripley, but Middlesbrough so nearly conceded a goal then. Dury with the shot after Dixon had headed it on. Middlesbrough breathe again. As Dorigo cuts the ball upfield, Kernahan underneath it. Under threat though from Dixon, and he's got away from him. And Coleman just managed to steer it back. With my word, Chelsea are testing out these central defenders. Here's the corner again. It was over Moncau, and it's Dixon who flicks it on there. And there's Dury with the shot, and pierced it well.
Sometimes that's the sort of situation that cup matches are won and lost on. And for Mark Stephen Pears, they stood up brave, looked at it all the way. An excellent strike from Dury. A ploy they use an awful lot. The touch on at the front post off a corner by Dixon. Dury finds himself in space.
Davenport to Proctor. Right across the face of the goal, but beyond Ripley, who was in there. Looks as if Baxter might have got an injury there. Mark Proctor sliding the ball right across the area, but unfortunately for him, no one on the end of it. The man who's captaining Middlesbrough today, in the absence of Tony Mowbray, milking the occasion from the sidelines. Coleman's header, Davenport scrapping with McAllister and Dury, who was a little casual then. Dury. Moncau. What an impressive figure he's been, Kenneth Moncau, the Dutchman. Chelsea now playing with 4 at the back rather than with the sweeper system they adopted earlier in the season. And what a contrast in the league positions. Chelsea 5th in Division 1, Middlesbrough right down there, hoping to stave off the threat of relegation in Division 2. McAllister. Now Hall. Too long. The cross was overhit. So respite for Middlesbrough. A rather blustery afternoon and still the occasional fall of rain. I think it's just spitting at the moment.
You mentioned there about John Bumstead, Pete. He certainly hasn't looked happy since that situation when he slid in, and just suspect he may have just tugged at a little hamstring. This isn't the sort of pitch where you want to be running around with pulled muscles.
It's a stamina sapping surface. The pitch though in excellent condition at Wembley. And they do say if you can't play here, you can't play anywhere. Slaven. He's done well, wriggling past, 2 tackles then. And Borough have got players up. Oh, but the pass was well wide of the target then, Davenport.
Actually, the encouraging thing for Middlesbrough would be if they can establish a grip on the game. Their style of play is best suited for playing at Wembley. I mean, they're a passing side. They're not one of these sides that just waft the ball from one end of the field to the other. They do play possession football, and that's the sort of football that normally is successful on this corner.
Dorigo to Moncau. Johnson to Hall. Dury's header, then he finds Parkinson though. He was quickly dispossessed by Kevin Wilson. Dorigo. And they've got to keep a careful eye of Middlesbrough on Dorigo, making his sorties down that left flank. Very much in the reckoning for an England place, Tony Dorigo. But with 10 minutes of the first half gone, it's still 0-0. Chelsea are the closest to a goal so far. The shot from Gordon Dury that was superbly saved by Stephen Pears. Johnson up in search of Dixon, away by Coleman. Not too well though, Bumstead threading it through, and it was little Owen McGee who touched it back to Pears. Owen McGee, who only played his first full game in the area final of the Zenith Cup against Aston Villa. He came in, a shot inclusion at the last minute at Villa Park, and he really excelled himself. And here he is now playing at Wembley. Proctor. Brennan. McGee taking over. Colin Todd feels his team are a footballing side, and he hopes they can turn on the style here. Bobby Campbell, an old score to settle. It was Middlesbrough, of course, who sent Chelsea down in the second division 2 seasons back when Middlesbrough went up to the first. A dramatic playoff situation. So a little bit of revenge on the minds of Chelsea today.
Certainly don't appear to be overawed, do they, Peter? They've come here to enjoy it. They've come here to play their game, which is passing the ball around. And at the moment, okay, they've had one hard flutter from Jury's shot, but they've settled down fairly comfortably.
Here's the free kick, and it's Kernahan, and a goal! Oh! Well, I thought it had gone in then from Slaven, and somehow he failed to turn it in. It seemed impossible that he could miss then. Kernahan challenging.
Well, the one player you would bet money on in this country, that's his scene, isn't it? Little tap-ins, anticipated the header from Kernahan, and really they should be winning the lead now.
Here's the corner taken by Proctor. Back in by Davenport. The whistle's gone though for an infringement. But Bernie Slaven then, well, he really should have scored goal number 26. It seemed he just had to score. The free kick was floated over superbly.
Good free kick here. Kernahan's lost his marker. Good free kick. There was a suggestion at one stage of handball on Kerry Dixon. It looks very much. Nicholas has done well though. Perhaps we didn't give him enough credit in the first place, Peter. Nicholas has done very well to intercept that.
Full marks to Nicholas, who got in just before Slaven by the look of that.
I must confess my initial reaction was that Slaven had miscued it completely.
So some sturdy defensive play then by Peter Nicholas. And both teams now have had a good chance. Here's Jury. Parkinson though sticking well to him. And it's a throw to Middlesbrough, whose confidence will be lifted by that near miss. McGee, Parkinson.
They say football's a strange game of fortune. I was just looking through the Middlesbrough team list now. 4 of their side that are playing today were actually playing against our reserve team 2 weeks ago, out of the magic circle, so to speak.
Yes, they are missing Middlesbrough, 1 or 2 more established names. Trevor Putney, I was talking to beforehand, on crutches. I told him he was wearing number 6 today, and he had to look at the programme to make sure that he wasn't. But he's certainly here to enjoy it anyway. Now, what can Chelsea do from this free kick here? Nicholas is there, and Dorigo. Moncao has come up from the back. Dorigo's kick. Coleman didn't really get it away, and it was Buxton with a shot. Appeals for a penalty. Roger Milford says no. I don't think the defender could get out of the way there. Blasted in. And it's a corner to Chelsea. And you have the feeling that we won't be waiting too long for the first goal in this Zenith Cup final. Nicholas with the kick, didn't reach Moncao. McAllister. Middlesbrough throw. Davenport. And they were backing into him. So a free kick. Peter Davenport, a man you've admired in the past, Ron, and he's had his ups and downs at Middlesbrough, but he's in the side today, and they'll be looking for some skillful touches from him. A word on Peter Davenport from Ron in just a moment as Brennan tries to force his way through. Got away from Hall. Chelsea may not have survived yet. Flags up for offside. Slaven quite clearly off then.
Yes, you've said that, Peter. He has had his up and downs, Peter Davenport, but a very, very skillful player. Good pace, playing in this position on the left-hand side. He's capable on his day, and you know Middlesbrough fans will hope it's there. He's capable of destroying any side single-handed, but immense talent.
And you, of course, signed him from Manchester United. He didn't really come off at Old Trafford, did he?
No, he scored about 17 goals in about 35 games, I think. What a nightmare.
Ron, of course, who hasn't made a bad signing now since, what time is it?
And then got $250,000 extra for him. Really bad signing.
McGee to Slaven. I'll teach you to go away on honeymoon and miss a game. Congratulations, Ron, on your wedding, by the way. I know you had a smashing trip.
Yes.
You've come back nice and suntanned.
Didn't miss you, Peter.
Didn't think you would.
For about a second.
Kernahan away. Nicholas for Chelsea. Now here's Davenport. Johnson comfortably there before Bernie Slaven. Well, Laurie McMenemy, watching from the studio, what are your thoughts on the action so far?
I think Middlesbrough have started exceptionally well. They've had the one let off, and as Ron said, that's the sort of save with the keeper's legs that win or lose cup ties. I was thinking exactly the same thing, and they're certainly not overawed by the occasion. And we've got to remember that they have, with Mark Proctor and Peter Davenport, and of course Bernie Slaven now, good experienced players who can turn a game on their own, and it's a good cup tie now.
And a pretty even one, certainly. Chelsea with that first chance, but Middlesbrough have come bouncing back strongly. And the wind taking that one all the way through to Stephen Pears.
They just get the impression that Chelsea have worked on that in their build-up, that they're not going to be afraid to just hit one or two high balls into the heart of the Middlesbrough defence. Whether they feel with Mowbray missing that there's a certain vulnerability about the younger defenders at Middlesbrough, I don't know, but certainly they look as if they're going to toss a few balls in and test them.
Here's Ripley for Middlesbrough. Slaven, it's quite a week for him. He plays for the Republic of Ireland, his debut in the week against Wales. Although he's a Scot, he has grandparents who are Irish. Dorigo, flicked on by Nicholas, but only to Parkinson. And Parkinson was the old man of the back four in that area final at Villa Park. 22 years old, but they had young Nicky Mohan playing as well instead of Mowbray. And McGee was at left back. And Coleman's not exactly a veteran. Here's Parkinson now to Proctor. Vastly more experienced, of course, Mark Proctor. Slaven's tackle, and they're setting about their task with a real panache of Middlesbrough. Moncau. Dorigo. He has Hall in space here. Now for Johnson. Nicholas. Perhaps he hadn't seen them that Curie was down. Roger Milford certainly had, and he's signalling for attention. So on comes physio Bob Ward to attend to Gordon Durie. He's had so many problems, Gordon Durie, with injury this season. In fact, Bobby Campbell was saying he missed so many matches they called him Shergar. Let's hope it's not too serious here. Gordon Durie, who's such a valuable player, of course, for Chelsea. 24 years old now, and very much in the thinking of Scotland manager Andy Roxburgh for the World Cup. And he scored the only goal for Chelsea anyway in the match against Middlesbrough in those playoffs. Middlesbrough having won the first leg 2-0, and Chelsea managing only the one goal in reply. But they can ill afford to lose him, Ron. Gordon Durie.
No, he is, as you say, a super player. Not had the best fortunes this season with injury. What they have got, they've got an excellent replacement. In fact, if Clive Wilson has to come on, which it doesn't look as if he's going to do. But if Clive Wilson does come on, at least he's a natural left-sided player who will slot into his position automatically.
And of course, when Durie was out injured, Clive Wilson was in the side, playing on the left side of midfield, with Kevin Wilson and Dixon pushed up front. But hopefully Durie's okay. Almost now at the halfway point in the first half. I don't think Durie knows that at the moment. Or does he? No, he seems okay. Well, let's hope so. He was certainly winded.
It's an interesting statistic. I don't think you see too many players come off in cup finals either.
He'll be very anxious to stay on. And what an excellent start we've had to this game. Chances at both ends. But so far, the Zenith final without a goal. Johnson cleared it. On then from Kevin Wilson, trying to find Dixon. And here's McAllister. Now Gordon Durie and Kevin Wilson. They continue his run here. He has McAllister and Dixon in the middle. Blocked by Kernahan, and it came off Kevin Wilson. So a goal kick to Middlesbrough.
Yeah, that's more the style I'd like to see Chelsea adopting. That's their best little pocket of football they've played since the start of the game, I think. Some bright interchanging between Jury, Wilson and McAllister, and some good accurate passing.
Kevin Wilson, who's just signed a new 2-year extension to his existing contract, so he'll be with the club really for the rest of his career.
See, one of the things as well, Peter, that will be getting to Chelsea, that they know they're red-hot favourites. They've been here before. Everyone except the Middlesbrough fans expect them to win. If the game was to go like this and Middlesbrough would continually knock the ball about and gain a fair bit of possession and keep picking at them, then there's a fair chance, you know, the Chelsea boys might just get frustrated and might start doing things that perhaps are not natural to their way of playing.
What do you think's going through the mind of Colin Todd at the moment, the man who's come in at the last moment, really, just 2 weeks in charge of Middlesbrough? How do you think he's feeling down there on the bench?
I think he'd be very, very happy. I mean, he's had the one little flutter when Jury's had the shot Stephen Pears has blocked. In a funny way, that works for you. You sit there and think, well, maybe it might be our day.
And it certainly pepped them up. Colin Todd can't keep still down on the bench. Bobby Campbell, well, he's seen Chelsea get off to a very promising start with an effort from Jury, but since then Middlesbrough have battled their way back into the game. Not much between the two sides at this stage.
Yes, in actual fact, what Middlesbrough have done very, very well is they've taken the heat out of the game a little bit. Whereas Chelsea want to be continually raiding, continually attacking, continually servicing Dixon and Wilson and providing crosses and chances for them. They've really restricted them at the moment.
Dorigo all the way back to Dave Besant. On from Dixon, off goes McAllister. And he was fouled then by Colin Cooper. McAllister, who was on the transfer list, McAllister earlier in the season. But he's won the vote of Bobby Campbell. Although I think he is actually still on the list, it does seem that he has a future at Chelsea after all. And here's McAllister now. In towards Wilson. Davenport to tidy up for Middlesbrough. Defensive duties this time for Peter Davenport. But Middlesbrough will be hoping that he can make an impact at the other end too. The sun's out, but it's raining now. So we really have sampled all forms of weather here today. But the crowd aren't too worried about that. They're enjoying the Zenith Cup final. Tremendous following from Middlesbrough. They were so excited when they got through to the final. And when the tickets went on sale, there were long queues outside Ayresome Park. Teesside on tour, there you are. And they've come down really on, I think, family holidays. Might be a few absentees from work tomorrow on.
You just get the impression as well, funnily enough, that the Middlesbrough fans possibly can't believe they're here. I'm sure if their side were to give them a goal to really cling to, then you wouldn't half hear some Geordie voices.
Montcow to Johnson. The Chelsea fans trying to urge their team forward now. Bumstead to Hall. Johnson had continued his progress down the middle, and Chelsea have won the free kick. 20 minutes to the first half to go. Might be a chance for Nicholas to blast one in from here. Johnson is there too. And Tony Dorigo as well, who's got a pretty powerful shot. Middlesbrough have all 10 outfield players back defending this free kick. Roger Milford making sure that wall is the requisite distance away. 5 in the wall. It's Dorigo. Oh, it's a goal! Pears got a hand to it, but he couldn't keep it out. And Tony Dorigo has blasted Chelsea into the lead. Pears is furious with himself, and he'll certainly be disappointed. He got a hand to it. Dorigo struck it well, but Pears couldn't draw it out.
Yes, do you give the credit to Dorigo for a lovely swerving shot, or maybe just as you say, maybe just say to Stephen Pearce, possibly ought to have done better, son.
I think he felt so, Ron, didn't he?
Yes,
From the look
I
on
think
his
so.
face?
He got a good hand on the ball. Good shot, good struck shot. There was a little dummy just beforehand from Johnson that may just have thrown Pearce slightly. But he'll be a bit disappointed with Stephen Pearce that he hasn't palmed that one over at least.
So 25 minutes gone, and Chelsea, the first division side, are in front against Middlesbrough. And this will test the character now of the second division side. Tony Dorigo, the goal scorer for Chelsea, doesn't score all that often. That's his fourth of the season and his first in this competition. The Australian who's made his name in English football, Stephen Pearce, well, I reckon he's going to be disappointed. He's certainly got a hand to it, and he could only palm it behind him into the goal. Kernahan under threat from Dixon. On the balance of play, Middlesbrough a little unfortunate to be behind. Can they come back now? Well, this is Jury for Chelsea. Unbeaten in 8 matches now, Chelsea. Wilson. So their confidence was high coming into the game. And now they have the fillip of the first goal.
Yes, I think the all-important thing now for Middlesbrough is that they just stay steady. The last thing they can afford now is to concede another goal, because basically that would put Chelsea right in the driving seat. There's a long time to go yet, Peter. If they can just keep pegging away, playing their own game, working at it, there's still hope for them. They can still come back from that.
Lauren McMenemy, watching from the studio, would you share our feeling then? Pearce was disappointed with that.
Yes, my position is right behind the goal, in fact, and I agree with Ronnie. The people will be disappointed because don't forget he had a wall up which could take responsibility for most of the goal to his left-hand side, and he was at full stretch, wasn't he, really? He could have done with being a yard to his right before the ball was struck. Having said that, if one of the Brazilians scores one of them here next Wednesday night against England, we'll all be raving about the quality of the delivery. So let's not take it away from Dorigo, but a great disappointment to Middlesbrough. And as Ron said, they've just got to be patient now and not go forward too quickly and too early, because Chelsea have got some wily people up front who will be waiting to get the second, and if that comes, well, then it could make it out of their reach.
McGee with a cross in towards Bernie Slaven, and Bassett had to tip it over the top, with Slaven marauding just behind him.
In actual fact, on the occasions, we've just seen one again there, when Middlesbrough do attack, when Middlesbrough do put stuff in the penalty area, the Chelsea defence looks a little bit shaky.
Brennan with the corner. Bassett started to come for it and didn't. Well, he retreated then, Bassett. Now, Brennan. Slaven flicking it on, flags up, Kernahan offside. Alan Kernahan, who is a very versatile player and has indeed performed on many occasions as a striker for Middlesbrough. So he was in a familiar role then, but he was offside. Great excitement here in this Wembley final. Chelsea leading, but Middlesbrough have had opportunities to have scored themselves. A quarter of an hour of the first half remaining. Kernahan. Good play by Parkinson. Proctor to Brennan. Using the whole width of the park here. Now Davenport. Cooper have gone outside him. Montcal with a very positive header, and he really does get some distance on his headers. And he's a player who's impressed me immensely, Kenneth Montcal, the Dutch defender. Dorigo. Dury. Good tackle there. Parkinson timing it perfectly. Just to bring you briefly the news of the test match over at the West Indies. No play so far. The start has been delayed. England, of course, in a very strong position, but they can't get on with it at the moment. And it's Chelsea who are in the stronger position. I wouldn't say it's that strong yet, but certainly the healthier position in this Senate final. The only goal so far scored by Tony Dorigo. And there you are, that's the view that Stephen Pears will have, and he will be so anxious that the wall is right after the earlier one that beat him. He's prancing up and down his goal line like a scalded cat. Dorigo is there again. Chipping it through, and this time he's held on. A sigh of relief, I'm sure, then, from Stephen Pears. Not really hit so hard this time, curled through by Dorigo. And he made sure he saved that one okay, Ron?
Yeah, he had much more time to get a sighting, and then, as you say, it was more or less a little dolly chip as opposed to a... In fairness to Dorigo's goal, it was a fairly well-struck, driven, swerving shot. A lot of pace on it.
Kevin Wilson almost found Dixon then. He still might. In towards Dixon again. He's turned free, and he was using his arms then to gain an unfair advantage. So the free kick to Middlesbrough. But you really can't allow this man an inch of room. 18 goals this season from Kerry Dixon. Well, he's just had a little spell and he hasn't scored one. So he'll be aiming to put that right today, as well as scoring his first Wembley goal. Proctor trying to shake off Bumstead, who's sticking with him. Proctor again. Here's Ripley. All given away then. It's a careless pass by Brennan. And Coleman is then before Dixon. Parkinson. Off goes Ripley. Policed through by Dorigo. Ripley with few opportunities to show his pace as yet. McGee. Beaten low by Bumstead. And that was a late challenge there by Parkinson, which may well earn him the yellow card. Yes, it's going to be a booking, I think, for Parkinson. It was a bit late then, Ron.
A bit late. I don't think he's arrived yet, has he? You're talking about Ripley, and as we saw against Aston Villa in the semi-final, he was the main threat, I felt, for Middlesbrough. He's got a little bit of a problem today because a lot of his best work is done down the right wing. He's a better player playing through the middle, working out towards the right-hand side of the field. But of course, he's going to come against Dorigo today, who's probably as quick, if not quicker, than him. So he has got a little bit of a problem in making those penetrating runs behind the left-back area.
And it's Tony Dorigo's team who are leading here. There he is, scorer of that Chelsea goal. Former Aston Villa defender. And now very much a part of this successful Chelsea team who turned things around in the last couple of years when they were relegated at the expense of Middlesbrough. To stay with the play for a moment. It's Bumstead to Nicholas. Davenport. But when they were relegated that day, Bobby Campbell went back into the dressing room after the overall defeat by Middlesbrough and said, that is the first day of our comeback. And so it's proved. And Bobby Campbell has inspired his team not only to promotion, but also to 5th place in the First Division. And of course, led them to this Wembley final. And we promised Bobby Campbell we'll try and show you a shot of his mum somewhere. Up there in the stand, 86 years old, and she never really leaves Liverpool apart from going to Lourdes. Davenport. 10 minutes of the first half to go. Brennan to Proctor. Ripley with Montcow, who towered above him. He does look a good defender, Montcow, Ron, doesn't he?
Yes, I think both him and Erland Johnson have settled in very well to the English way of playing. He was particularly suited. He was one that the sweeper system did favour very much, probably because in Holland, he'd have been well used to that way of playing. but now in playing basically in the normal flat back four, he does okay.
Davenport. Here's Slaven. Out of play. It's a throw to Chelsea. Slaven just tangling there with Gareth Hall, and he's going to get a ticking off too from Roger Milford.
Actually, that's about the third Middlesbrough player. I think I saw Brennan just earlier have a little bit of an altercation with Gareth Hall. Fiery little Welshman who believes in making his physical presence and making an impact on the game that way sometimes. But as you've said, has deservedly won his place on the Chelsea side and done very well. A gritty little performer.
And obviously determined to hold on to it. It's Colin Todd, wondering if his team can find an equaliser before half-time. At the moment, they have some defending to do. Nicholas to Dorigo, just managed to keep his feet, but not before McGee came sliding in with the tackle. Moncau finding Hall. Kernahan. Hall can try again. Here's Brennan. Now for Ripley, who's giving it away to Moncau. That was clumsy. Dorigo. Nicholas from Moncau. Chelsea spraying their passes around here. Dorigo. Dixon had gone down the middle. Shielded it well too. Fury. Cross it was from Dixon. I think the canister was in there. Nicholas. Good covering defensive play though by Brennan. Very quickly closed down. Mark Brennan, who scored a cracking goal in the week at Plymouth, and of course also scored that dramatic late winner at Villa Park in the area final. But this is Wilson for Chelsea, and is that the corner conceded? Yes, it is.
Yes, at times, Peter, Middlesbrough having the same problems Crystal Palace had in the semi-final. They can't deal with Dixon in the air.
And not only do they have Dixon to contend with on this corner, but also Moncau, who's come up, and Erland Johnsen. Moncau on the near post. This has gone. Free kick to Middlesbrough. And Middlesbrough have certainly had their share of the play in the first half. Trailing, for the moment anyway, a goal to nil. The goal from Tony Dorigo. Hall. Plenty of time for Moncau, opting to come forward himself. Not so Johnsen. Dixon going on. Coleman with a very important header. Here's McGee. There really is a wave of excitement around the ground whenever Kerry Dixon threatens up front for Chelsea. He's so sharp around the penalty area. 5 minutes of the first half remaining. Johnsen. Here's Davenport. Finding Slaven, has he? Or is he? But no, it was Johnsen who came thundering across. Now, Brennan. Here's Kernahan. Too long for McGee. And Chelsea's defence, again, dealing confidently with that Middlesbrough attack and getting one underway themselves with Dixon. And Coleman just managing to hold it back. He's got a real job on though, Simon Coleman, keeping a tight rein on Kerry Dixon. Hall won't go, and perhaps couldn't have reached it anyway, but here's Davenport now. He's got Slaven in the middle, and Ripley. And it was Montcal who hit away with Besant beaten. The goalkeeper was a little stranded then, and it was Montcal who came to the rescue.
Very much so. Just thinking to myself there, it's about time Peter Davenport started doing some of his best work higher up the pitch. He's been neat and tidy in the middle third of the pitch or even in defensive areas, but that's the first time he's really picked up the ball and run at them, and you can see there what a threat he can be.
And the cross took out the goalkeeper, Dave Besant, but Montcal was able to head it away for the corner. Wilson's header. Back in from Proctor, away by Hall, but it's gone straight to Coleman, who miscued. He sliced his shot, but he's got a corner that was deflected.
I think there's another example, Peter. I don't honestly feel that the Chelsea defence is over-comfortable when they're put under pressure today.
Well, they're certainly under pressure here, with 3 minutes of the first half left. Here's the corner. Kernahan couldn't quite climb to meet it. Proctor in there with a header. Cooper having to steer it all the way back to Stephen Pears. Parkinson now. Middlesbrough hoping to finish the first half with a goal. And they've certainly had their moments in the first 45 minutes. 43 minutes to be exact, there are still 2 to go. Davenport, here's McGee. In towards Ripley, who turned well. Slaven to Brennan. Proctor withstood the challenge of McAllister, but he was happy to clear anywhere, and perhaps a little more coolness was called for. McGee, I think, to pick up Davenport, and he has too. He has Slaven inside him. 4 players arriving in the middle. One of them was Brennan, but it's a good spell this for Middlesbrough, Ron.
Very much so, and it's all sparked out from the lad we were talking about earlier, playing on the left-hand side, Davenport. Every time he gets the ball, he's capable of opening up things. It's just whether mentally he wants to take this game by the scruff of the neck. He could get Middlesbrough back into the game. He's good enough to.
Come on, Borough is the roar now from the Middlesbrough supporters. Pushing them by Gordon Bury, so a free kick to Middlesbrough, who are taking the game to Chelsea. Coleman taking the free kick. Finds Cooper. Ripley goes down, it's a free kick, a foul by Johnson. We're now into the last minute of the first half. It's Chelsea's turn to pull everybody back. Parkinson, we've seen from free kicks earlier in the season. He's got a pretty venomous shot. Brennan is there too, and Proctor. And they've set Kernahan forward. And it's wasted by Brennan. Not quite sure what he was thinking of there.
I've got to believe he miscued that and meant to just pull it in. There was, I think it was Kernahan was coming on a run across the box, just try to put it into Kernahan's run and has miscued it. I can't believe he honestly thought Besant would be caught napping with that.
Parkinson having to chase here. Only a few seconds remaining then in the first half.
But I found that a little bit interesting. That would be encouraging to me if I was Colin Todd. The very fact that every time they do apply pressure, Middlesbrough, they're not comfortable. The Chelsea defence certainly isn't comfortable when there's pressure against them. Whether that's due to the fact that the central defence have played for a big part of the season with a sweeper behind them.
Off Hall for the throw to Middlesbrough. Cooper taking the throw. Davenport trying to create something for Middlesbrough. And the free kick is given to Chelsea. So it looks as if they're going into the half-time break with a 1-goal lead. Chelsea, unless something rather dramatic happens in the last few seconds. And we hope soon to hear the views of Tony Mowbray, the Middlesbrough captain, out through injury today. Watching from the sidelines. Another long kick from Besant. Kernahan cuts it out. Did well there. We've now played a minute of time, added on for stoppages. As McGee is clattered, but it's a Chelsea throw. Kevin Wilson winning the ball back fairly. Wilson to Dorigo, the goal scorer. Nicholas. His time for Parkinson. And he's mishit that one. Straight to Hall. But Chelsea haven't posed so much of a threat, really, since scoring that first goal. Kernahan, a chance to come forward now. It's given away, though, to Nicholas. And here's the quick counter-attack with Dury. Nicholas showed too much of that to Brennan. We've now had 2 minutes of injury time. Off goes Ripley. Now will he take on Moncau here? Driven in towards Slaven. He's controlled it well. Couldn't keep it down though. And it was positive play by Middlesbrough.
Very much so. I would say on the balance of play in the first half, they probably had more occasions when they might have scored than Chelsea had. They'll consider themselves a little bit unfortunate to be one down at half-time. That's the mark of Bernie Slavin's quick reaction.
And there is a whistle from Roger Milford to end the first half. Appreciative applause ringing out around Wembley. Tony Dorigo with the only goal. So Chelsea leading by 1-0, but really Middlesbrough have had opportunities and they are very much in contention in this game. And I think Colin Todd will be telling them that at half-time that they really have every chance of coming back and who knows, perhaps still winning this Zenith Cup final. Chelsea with the goal then from Dorigo, the free kick that Stephen Pears couldn't keep out. But Chelsea, Ron, haven't really built on that, have they?
No, I mean, Dorigo, strangely enough, whether young McGee's keeping him a little bit quiet there, Dorigo really hasn't penetrated like he normally does. He's played a little bit safe, and ironically enough, the first time he's really come into an attacking position was to hit a set play, and it's been enough to separate the sides at the moment.
So what do you think Bobby Campbell will be saying to his team now?
I think Bobby Campbell will try and get the game going forward more. I think he will be happier when Dixon and Wilson and people like that are being given a better service, are being given more pressure balls into the penalty box. I don't think you would be entirely happy having to defend 45 minutes to try and defend a 1-0 lead.
Well, there's Tony Mowbray, the man who's missing out on the final. Let's hear what he's got to say on the first half, talking with Matt Lorenzo. Matt?
Tony, what did you think of that half?
Entertaining. I think both sides had a few chances. We had a few flashing across the front of the goal, just begging for a touch, wouldn't go in. Obviously, Tony Dorigo's a great finish from where I was sitting. He's always capable of doing something like that. Tony Dorigo, great left foot. But we're starting to get Peter Davenport into the game last quarter of an hour, and he's put a few useful balls over. With Bernie in there, we're always likely to nick one, so we're hopeful.
It was some consolation for you to be able to go out with the team, was it, or not really enough?
Well, obviously I'd like to be out there playing and doing my bit, but it was a great gesture, I think, by the new manager, Mr. Colin Todd, and I mean, I appreciate that. I said in the papers recently I'd be a bit embarrassed to do it, but he asked me again today, and I mean, I was pleased to do it. I was very proud to do it, and yeah, hope we can just finish it off now for us.
How do you reckon it'll go after the break?
Well, that's it. I mean, likes of Bernie in the team, we're always like, you just need half a chance and he'll stick it away. And as I say, we got Peter into the game last quarter of an hour, so hopefully he'll keep providing half a chance and could turn everything around.
Thanks very much, Tony.
Thank you.
Matt Lorenzo with Tony Mowbray, the Middlesbrough skipper who misses the game. We'll take a break, but before we go, just to remind you, Middlesbrough had to come from behind against Aston Villa to get here. They did it. Can they do it again today? See you in a minute to find out. Back. Not a bad way of earning a living, is it? Wembley in the sunshine, terrific cup tie on the park, half-time, Chelsea a goal to the good. With me, Laurie McMenemy. Laurie, overall impression of the first half from you first?
I think that Bobby Campbell and Chelsea will feel rather fortunate to be in front, but they've been patient, and it was a tremendously well-taken free kick. And as Ron pointed out, I think that apart from that, and the early scare that we're going to have a look at shortly, Stephen Pearce hasn't had a lot to do.
Right, I think we can actually have a look at the first moment in the game when Chelsea threatened very early on. Here it comes now, Laurie.
Yeah, the trouble with goalkeepers is they get blamed for misses, but people forget things like this. He's got right across the goal and stuck his... That's a part of the art of goalkeeping, using your legs and your feet as well. And Gordon Jury strikes the ball very hard, as we've seen in the rounds leading up to this, and he didn't have a lot of time to see that. He certainly couldn't have got his hands to it, and he kept the team in the game at that stage.
Have Dixon and Dury looked just as sharp today as they were in the semi-final?
I think they're working hard, but to be fair to Middlesbrough, they're not giving them a lot of chance. I think one of the problems at the back for Middlesbrough is not that they've been effective, but I think they possibly will miss the leadership qualities of Tony Mowbray. He's only about 26, but he looks as though he's been around a long time, and he has got this ability to lift players and to take them that one step beyond what they think they're capable of doing. And that's what they need now.
Chance fell early on also to Middlesbrough. Bernie Slavin getting right into the danger area.
This is one of the finds of the season, and he's very sharp in and around the box there, and we thought he'd missed a chance, but we thought he'd got his left foot round it, but we didn't give Peter Nicholas enough credit until we saw the slow motion. Nicholas is a wily old character, and he got in there and he got his foot there, but he also leant in a little bit and put the forward
like an
off
old
balance.
Professional.
Well, that's one of the differences between doing it for a living and playing in the park on a Sunday morning for the YMCA.
Now the goal. Took some time to come. We were saying during the game that if a Brazilian scores a goal like this, we'll say it's world
he
class.
puts his foot right round the far arc, and he's done well to get his hand to it there. Well, maybe he's a little bit harsh with him. If we can have a look at that again, we thought that possibly might have been over to his right, the goalkeeper, but you see, it's gone right in the corner. The goalkeepers' union think that once they get the hand to it, it shouldn't go in the net.
Tell me about Dorigo. Many people say he should be closer than he is to a full place in the England team.
Well, he can't get much closer than breathing down the fella's neck that's in possession. I think that him and Stuart Pearce are different types altogether. Stuart Pearce is the old-fashioned type, short back and sides, legs like an elephant. If he tackles you, you'll feel it for 2 weeks. This lad is a quick, modern type of player who likes to go forward more. And he's a good quality passer of the ball. What you want is a combination of both. I think at the moment Bobby Robson's got it right. Fullbacks should defend first and foremost, and I think that if this lad has an area to be exposed, it is his defensive quality, and that's where Middlesbrough, funny enough, in the second half have got to try and get Stuart Ripley, this winger with a powerful lad with tremendous pace, got to try and get him at Dorigo to examine his defensive qualities.
Maybe we'll find out after this short break what the managers have had to say at half-time. See you in a second. A magnificent sunny afternoon at Wembley. The rest of the world not quite so sunny, we've heard. Our other live and exclusive coverage today was supposed to be from the cricket. Port of Spain, Trinidad, West Indies against England, the third day of the third test, supposed to be starting about an hour ago. But unfortunately, I must tell you that the weather has intervened and they've had no play so far today. Rain falling solidly. Just to remind you, England's supposed to resume on 189 for 2, just about to establish a first innings lead. But it hasn't quite worked out that way so far. When they do resume, Messrs Gooch and Lamb will try to put England into a net balance in the test match, already leading 1-0 in the series. Back here at Wembley, Matt Lorenzo down at pitch side with a very special fan of the Middlesbrough contingent.
I'll say he's a special fan. Tappy, why are you so special?
Well, I'm not so special at all, like, I'm just the same as everybody else. I'm just trying to raise cash for the South Cleveland childcare unit.
And how did you get here then?
I walked.
How long did it take you?
10 days.
And how much money have you raised?
We don't know, we expected this 5,000, but the response from the people of Teesside has been astronomical. I think we'll go well past £5,000.
And I suppose you'll be walking back then?
You suppose wrong. Believe you me, you suppose wrong. It's far too hard.
But in a good cause, and you reckon that when you go back by train, car, whatever, you'll be going back with a cup?
Sorry?
You'll be going back with a cup this time?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. One goal at Chelsea, we were going to give them 2 start.
So what's the final score going to be?
The final score will beat them 3-1, without a shadow of a doubt. The fans are right behind them now. We didn't walk all this way for nothing.
None more so than you. Tappy, thanks very much.
Would have thought he deserved a place on the team coach going back north after this game. Here come the teams again. We'll rejoin our match commentators, Ron Atkinson, and first Peter Brackley as Borough take the field again.
Thank you, Paul. And we were certainly enjoying the thoughts and comments of our friend there from Middlesbrough, who's walked all the way down here. And I reckon he'll walk back if they win the trophy. But he was certainly confident enough, and Middlesbrough have come out before Chelsea, so perhaps that's a good psychological boost for them. They've come out looking in good heart, and they certainly have plenty of encouragement to derive from the first half, when they had chances to have equalised and indeed to have scored before Chelsea did. Well, Tony Mowbray is down there with Matt Lorenzo now, so let's see what Tony thinks is going to happen in the second half.
Tony Mowbray, you've been in the dressing room. What's the atmosphere like?
Still one of self-belief. I think we can do it. We've got a few good chances. Hopefully, as I said before, we just get half a chance and get the fans going, give them something to shout about, and we can go on to win it, hopefully.
What did Colin Todd have to say?
Just like I said, keep it going. Let's get the ball wide to Peter Davenport. Let's take the right full back on. Let's get people arriving in the box, and let's see what comes of it.
There's been a lot of pressure on Colin over the last 3 weeks. It's a big job for him. His first cup tie is a Wembley final. How do you think he's coping?
Oh, very well. I mean, we're all here just to enjoy it, really. Same with the boss. He's just come for a good day. Told the lads no pressure, really, just enjoying themselves. If we do the right things at the right times, we'll get a result, and hopefully that'll happen this half.
What do you reckon we'll see this half?
I'm looking for a Borough 2-1 win, actually.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very
Tony.
much. Cheers, man.
Well, there we are. That's the confident review from Tony Mowbray. And we're now lining up then for the start of the second half. Chelsea leading through the goal scored by this man, Tony Dorigo. Middlesbrough to kick off in the second half. It's such a memorable day for these Middlesbrough players, many of whom were born and bred in the area. And they were talking this week of the excitement that their appearance in the final has created. Indeed, Stuart Ripley was saying when he went home after the win over Aston Villa, his grandfather was in tears at Wembley awaiting Middlesbrough. Stuart Ripley, well, they could do with a goal from him now, but that's a point, Ron, to pick up there. We were saying, well, you were saying Peter Davenport could be a key man now for them.
Yes, he's got to do most of his best work in the top half of the pitch. I mean, he must be encouraged by just before half-time when he had 2 or 3 little runs at Hull and showed him a clean pair of heels and produced quality balls. Now, he's good enough to do that. He's got enough experience. It's about time he really set himself right. I owe Middlesbrough this. I owe myself this. You know, he's got great talent that hasn't always been fulfilled. He's got a big stage to perform on today.
There's no better occasion for him to do so than here now. And Middlesbrough have a throw which Colin Cooper is about to take for them. Cooper again in search of Ripley. Montcal is with him. And well, I thought that came off Ripley, but no, it's a throw to Middlesbrough. Here's Ripley now. Montcal, as ever, is with him. Ripley trying to turn Montcal. He has McAllister there too for extra company, and it's a throw to Chelsea. Montcal, there's a lot of speculation that he could be in the Dutch team for the World Cup finals, and he certainly has done his prospects no harm with his displays in recent weeks. Proctor. Here's Parkinson. Cut out by Nicholas, who's done a good steady job in midfield. Coleman. Middlesbrough looking to start the second half as they finish the first. But can they find a way to unlock this Chelsea defence? McAllister now, hoping to break for Chelsea. And it's a free kick to the First Division side. A goal to the good, scored by Tony Dorigo. But is that going to be enough to win them the Zenith Cup? Chelsea, remember, hoping to win the competition for the second time. As Wilson tries to barge his way through. Wilson again, he got a shot in, but his foot was high. And he got a knock as well in the process. But it's a goal kick to Middlesbrough. Kevin Wilson down injured. And both physios have come on. I think there's a Middlesbrough player down as well. And that is Simon Coleman. Simon Coleman, who was at Wembley a few years ago with Mansfield, when they played here in the Freight Rover Trophy. Although he didn't play in the game, he was with the squad. There's Simon Coleman. In fact, I gather he pinched a seat on the team bus. He sold all his tickets to his mates or gave them away. Found he hadn't got one himself, so he nicked a seat on the bus. Kevin Wilson, he's been a revelation really for Chelsea this season. Leading scorer along with Kerry Dixon with those 18 goals, and of course a Northern Ireland international too. And he says himself he's benefited really from having to fight for a place with Dury and Dixon. And now, of course, Bobby Campbell has resolved the situation by selecting all three. But the atmosphere really building now in this Wembley final of the Zenith Cup. Slaven for Middlesbrough. Safely through to Stephen Pears. He was at Wembley with Manchester United, in the squad anyway, back in the mid-80s, when Ron was in charge of Man United, and of course they won the FA Cup. That was the one against Everton, I think, Ron, wasn't it?
That's right, yes. He was the, in fact, in one of the earlier rounds, he came in for Gary Bailey in the, I think it was a quarter-final, no, the round previous to the quarter-final against Coventry, and had an absolute storm. It saved a penalty, and I remember him making one fantastic save with the last kick of the match from Brian Kilcline.
And he was outstanding too in the two matches against Aston Villa in the area final. Stephen Pears, and although he'll be disappointed, I'm sure Colin Todd would have encouraged him, patted him on the back at half-time and said, don't let it worry you. He got a hand to the shot from Tony DeRigo, but couldn't prevent it going in. And that goal divides the two teams. 5 minutes into the second half. Parkinson for Borough. Here's Ripley. Shackled inevitably by Markel. Well, he got away from him, but DeRigo was there covering. But they need to exploit the pace of Ripley and the skill of Davenport on the other flank.
Yes, I just wondered before very long whether they may do something. Little McGee, who's become a little bit of a favourite of ours, hasn't he, in the two games against Aston Villa and all that. He's had a relatively quiet game. Now, whether that's because he's...
Just pause here. Dixon to McAllister. Wilson and Dixon in the middle. Coleman. Very composed header. Cooper to tidy up.
As I was saying, Peter, whether or not his responsibility has been today to just try and prevent DeRigo making those overlapping runs, which he's done to a certain extent. But I think the time will be very close where we'll see Kerr coming on. I mean, he was one of the outstanding players in the semi-final against the Villa. I just wonder whether, as the game goes on and on into the second half, whether Middlesbrough will go a little bit more attack-minded.
Yes, Kerr and Nicky Mohan, the two substitutes for Middlesbrough. Clive Wilson and David Lee on the bench for Chelsea. Ripley, there's no flag. McGee in towards Brennan. That was a good tackle by Owen Johnson initially. Markow now bringing it away. Beyond Wilson, here's Proctor. Proctor again, and Middlesbrough captain. But denied by Kerry Dixon. Mark Proctor in his second spell with Middlesbrough, and he's been around the clubs, and he played at Wembley here in the Mercantile Credit for Sheffield Wednesday a few years back. And he missed out there on the League Cup final when he was with Sunderland. He was injured. Lauren McMenemy, how do you think the second half's going now?
Well, I agree with Ron. I think that if in the next 5 or 10 minutes Middlesbrough don't make a breakthrough, they've possibly got to bring Paul Kerr on. And Chelsea are playing a patient game at the moment. But I'm a bit disappointed from a Middlesbrough point of view. They haven't controlled the midfield enough through the two marks, Mark Proctor and Mark Brennan. And I think that if they could get more control, they could possibly get Davenport in and Ripley, as we said at half-time.
Thanks, Laurie. Kernahan pursued by Gordon Dury, and has Pears kept that in? Just about. He's got the benefit of the doubt anyway. But it's a throw to Chelsea. Hoping now to find the cushion of a second goal. DeRigo, scorer of the first one. Slaven with Johnson. Kevin Wilson. Nicholas going in. Such a competitive midfield in there now. Brennan and Proctor scrapping with Buxton and Nicholas. Kernahan for Borough. Went as far as Montcow. He was a little loose with his pass. Buxton then was caught by Proctor. Chelsea taking the free kick quickly. Hall. Now McAllister. Dixon. Bundled over though by Coleman.
Yeah, although he hasn't been the Kerry Dixon we know in terms of scoring and so forth, his power and his strength has always been a threat. Has always caused the Middlesbrough defenders problems.
And there are problems then for Middlesbrough here. Nicholas with the free kick. Johnson and Montcow are up. And Dixon didn't reach it. It was Coleman who headed clear. Dury. That was a firm tackle then by Proctor in full view of the referee, who saw nothing wrong. Slaven. Proctor now. Can he lift Borough in the second half? Ripley. Finding Proctor a little fortuitously. And that's a good ball. Davenport. Now, he's in the clear here. He's got Cooper outside him. Put it through for McGee. Davenport onto the return pass. And that will be a throw to Chelsea. It's a pretty lively start to the second half. And Davenport with some chance then to run at defenders. On from McAllister. Cooper's header. Here's Slaven. Tremendous support here for Middlesbrough. And also for Chelsea too. That's the Borough fans who are really raising their voices now. Parkinson to Ripley. Proctor. They get Davenport away to the left if they can find him. Cooper's pass, Ripley. Chelsea can't allow him to turn. Brennan. Slaven taking over. Still Slaven. Trying to drive it through unsuccessfully. And Chelsea at last clear. And there's always the problem then, the threat of the counter-attack for Chelsea with these dangerous players up front. But Colin Todd has pepped his team up. And they're very much in contention for the Zenith final. A goal down, but now attacking Chelsea. Here's Davenport. Good defending by Hall. It's Cooper with the throw. Here's Davenport. Cooper again. Now Brennan. Buxton has won it back though for Chelsea from the rather sloppy pass. Dixon. Middlesbrough back in possession again. Brennan. And he's hit the pass too long.
It's quite apparent now every time Peter Davenport gets possession how quickly Kevin McAllister backtracks on the right-hand side of the Chelsea side to try and give Gareth Hall support. Obviously, whilst Colin Todd's been saying that to give the ball to Davenport, Bobby Campbell's also made his lads aware of the fact of the threat.
Free kick to Middlesbrough. Parkinson. Here's McGee. He doesn't appear to be tiring anyway. Just 19 years old, remember, knowing McGee. But here's Dury for Chelsea. Now Kerry Dixon. 80,000 people totally immersed in this cup final, which is really bubbling now in the second half. These fans from Chelsea seeing their team ahead at the moment, but certainly that lead looks a precarious one. Arrigo and Dury organising the free kick. A look for Montcow in there. Johnson this time has stayed back. But Dixon's in there, McAllister and Wilson. Arrigo taking the kick. Here's Nicholas, now McAllister. Good turn by him. But he hasn't managed to shake off Davenport. This is Hall. Moncau. McGee did well. He was fouled in any case. And Borough have taken the free kick quickly. Ripley now. Looking to accelerate past Johnson. And the Norwegian international forced to concede the corner. And that was better than allowing Ripley a run at goal. Corner then to Middlesbrough. Brennan to take it. The two big central defenders have come up. Kernahan and Coleman. Didn't reach them. McGee. Parkinson. Brennan. Moncau missed his header for once. Slaven back across the goal. Oh, and Davenport with a dreadful miss kick. And he'll be so annoyed with himself there. In fairness, Ron, the ball really flew across the area, but all the same.
Yes, to be fair, he wouldn't have got a sighting on it till at the last minute because Bernie Slavin whipped it in so rapid. In fact, I thought Bernie Slavin had almost made himself something out of nothing there.
But Middlesbrough are beginning to get a grip on the second half. There's the effort from Slaven across the goal. And as Ron said, it really did come whipping over. A quarter of an hour gone in the second half. Chelsea 1, Middlesbrough 0, the final of the Zenith Cup. Coming to you live from Sky. But what a match Middlesbrough are making of it now. They've come here determined to do themselves justice, and they most certainly have. Dixon though for Chelsea. Just too long for McAllister as Pears comes out. And that was almost an excellent ball for Davenport.
Peter, in all fairness, I think on balance of play, I think Middlesbrough have been the better side. I've been a little bit disappointed with Chelsea. Okay, you could safely say they may be sitting on the lead, they may be just being patient, they may be sitting behind the ball and making Middlesbrough come onto them, but they've never given the impression they're in control of the game.
Parkinson for Middlesbrough, McGee. McGee again. And that's an excellent ball through to Proctor. Moncau with the saving tackle. And Buxton was the last man. Bessett now with a cap on to shield his eyes from the bright sunlight. And the crowd basking not only in the sunshine, but also in the excitement of this cup final, which is really warming up now. Great atmosphere. And it's a free kick to Middlesbrough. Persevering here in hope of an equaliser. Paul McGee has no chance of reaching that one.
Certainly in terms of atmosphere as well, the second half, they've managed to lift the crowd. The lad at half-time was saying, the lad that walked all the way down, he was saying the fans would get right behind them. And in all fairness to the fans, that's what they've started to do now. We've started at last to have what I would call a cup final atmosphere in the place.
Parkinson. Ripley. Shadowed by Moncau, who's had another very strong game at the back. Just 1 or 2 moments when he and Johnson have been at full stretch. And a very, very confident defender, Kenneth Moncau. Arrigo, scorer of the only goal. Caught then by Proctor. Free kick to Chelsea. Tony Arrigo in the England squad for the match against Brazil in the week. And Chelsea indeed have no less than 8 players in their squad on international duty in midweek. And here's one of them taking the free kick. Peter Nicholas of Chelsea and Wales. Up towards Dixon. Driven through by Bumstead. And Stephen Pear's already committed to the save, which in the end was rather more comfortable perhaps than he anticipated. Dorigo on from Dury, finding Dixon. The two linking well. Pulled in for Dury. Kernahan just managing to defy him. Of course, that's one other option, Ron, is to push Kernahan up front. They could bring on Mohan, play him at the back, and perhaps push Kernahan up.
Yeah, that's right. I just feel that if they're going to do anything, Peter, it would be to bring Kerr on. I mean, Kerr, in many ways, was the match winner against Aston Villa in the semi-final. He is an attack-minded midfield player, which is possibly something they're suffering from a little bit. Mark Proctor, Mark Brennan, very much the same type of player. Both like to play from behind the ball, whereas Kerr was once a striker. He wouldn't be afraid to go beyond the ball and get strikes in.
But here's Dixon for Chelsea. Support arriving too. McAllister's got bursting through the middle. Still Dixon. Beaten though by Cooper. Now Hall. I think Dixon got a knock in the face then as he lost out to Cooper. Indeed, Dixon holding his head. So there's a problem here for Chelsea. Moncau always looks so comfortable in possession. Very fluent player, but Kerry Dixon looking a little worried at the moment. Got a bash in the face. And there are the two subs, Paul Kerr and Nicky Mohan. 25 minutes to go, so perhaps Colin Todd is contemplating the change as he made that excellent save then. Perhaps he's coming on as goalkeeper. And there's Dixon. Let's hope it's not too serious for him. Chelsea still leading, but it's a slender lead. A goal from Tony Dorigo in the first half. A smile from Ward suggests he's okay. Kerry Dixon, who's had a tremendous career for Chelsea. He's second behind Bobby Townling in their all-time goal-scoring list. Townling, I think, 202, so he's well on the way to passing that. Ripley. Davenport with Hall. And Hall in the end forced to give away the corner. It's a signal for Coleman to come forward. I'm sure Kernahan too, to add their height in the penalty area. It's a very congested 18-yard box. Besant didn't make a clean catch and there was no foul. McGee. Slaven with a chance to cross it in. McGee again. Testing out Moncau in the air. He was equal to it, but this is Brennan now. Davenport. Another corner. Middlesbrough inflicting some pressure here in search of the equaliser. And they're pinning Chelsea back. A variation on the corner, not a very successful one. Driven away by Kevin Wilson. But a throw to Middlesbrough. Taken by Cooper. Here's Parkinson. Coleman. Everybody for Chelsea back in their own half at the moment. Proctor. Ripley. Good interchange of passes. Now Brennan. This is Slaven. Chelsea just sitting back, hoping to soak up this period of pressure. Slaven. They very nearly got through then. Moncau to whack it away. And Middlesbrough have to be careful. They're not caught on the break with these predatory strikers, Dury and Dixon. Slaven. But still Middlesbrough dictating the play. Davenport. In towards McGee, who just managed to nudge it on. Parkinson now. Long way out. Well, he scored from long range against Everton in the FA Cup earlier in the season, but not this time. I reckon Bobby Campbell must be a bit of a worried man at the moment.
I should think he possibly is. I mean, you've got to admire Middlesbrough. They're just keeping their patience. They're playing the ball around to feet, moving the ball, and it wouldn't be a surprise to see them equalise. On the other hand, Chelsea are committed to saying, all right, we've two good front players. We'll all sit behind the ball and we'll hope that Dixon or Jury or Kevin Wilson can conjure something out of nothing for us.
Good, powerful header forward by Kernahan. The same applied, though, for Moncau. Here's Johnson. And they're getting rather animated over on the bench. Colin Todd was urging his players forward. Totally wrapped up in the occasion, Colin Todd. Alongside him, David Nish, another old Derby and England favourite. Dixon beaten in the air by Coleman. And here's McAllister. Dreadful cross from Harry Dixon, of all people. His wish for a Wembley goal deserting him at the moment. But Chelsea still leading from the first half strike by Tony Dorigo. "20 minutes left. Dixon on Jury with Kernahan. Jury's got away from him. Oh! Appeals for a penalty, but it was a clean save. And the referee, Roger Milford, had a good look, and he was absolutely right, in my view, anyway. And in fairness to Jury, Ron, there was no real protest from Jury.
Oh, not a cat in hell's chance. Very, very good and brave goalkeeping. And if there's any question mark about Dorigo's goal, he's atoned for it there. He certainly got Alan Kernigan out of prison there, because Alan made that. Kernigan's made this little weak. It's been out-muscled a bit by Jury there, but his back pass should have been stronger.
And he certainly made the save without bringing down Jury, who really toppled over his prostrate body. No protest from Jury. He accepted that decision, even if the Chelsea supporters didn't. There's a free kick here to Chelsea, taken by Nicholas. Away by Coleman. Nicholas once more. Header on was from Johnson. Safely through to Pears. McGee. This is Proctor. Proctor again, combining with Brennan and trying to find Davenport. McAllister again has got back, trying to cut out the service to Davenport. Ripley. Ushered on by Roger Milford. Parkinson, who obviously fancies a crack at goal, but he's a long way out then, Ron.
It's a long way, but he's getting closer. I think his first one was a sighter, the next one he's finding the range.
So by Wednesday, he ought to score. Not a bad effort, though, at all, then, from Gary Parkinson. And Middlesbrough very much in this game, in there fighting. Johnson just in before Brennan. And the decision in favour of Chelsea. The foul on Johnson. Big smile from the Norwegian defender. His first taste of Wembley. He was with Bayern Munich, of course, before moving to Chelsea, and he settled in extremely well. Now playing alongside Kenneth Moncau. Dixon on. Parkinson to McGee. No sign of any substitution yet from Middlesbrough. I think Paul Kerr has got his tracksuit bottoms off, so perhaps he's going to come on fairly soon. Slaven's pass to Cooper. Davenport trying to find some space outside him. This is Slaven now. Again, they're looking to find Davenport. Skipping past McAllister. Still Davenport. And that is the route to goal if Middlesbrough can get Davenport away down that flank. That's the way to unhinge the Chelsea defence, Ron.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, even though he's confronted by the two players then, he's got the bit between his teeth. He knows if he gets good possession, he's got the beating of the full-back. And as I say, that's important for a lad like Davenport. So, you know, he thrives on confidence.
So, Colin Todd, what's going through his mind now, I wonder? He's got plenty to say for himself, and why not? Because Middlesbrough are taking the game to Chelsea, and they're certainly probing very hard in the hope of snatching an equaliser. Nicholas to Moncau. Dorigo. Parkinson's header only finding Nicholas. McGee. Davenport was quickly closed down then. Wilson shrugging off one challenge, but no further progress made by him. So here's Proctor for Middlesbrough. Dorigo's first half goal beginning to look very significant. I wonder if it is going to win the Zenith Cup for Chelsea. Defenders coming out quickly for Middlesbrough, and they've called a couple of players offside, Urey and Dixon. A quarter of an hour left. Chelsea hanging on. And Laurie McMenemy, they are hanging on really, aren't they, at the moment?
Well, I think they're very well organised, Peter, and they're handling everything Middlesbrough have got. The only chink in the armour is whenever Peter Davenport gets away down that wing. And Kevin McAllister is doing a good job by sacrificing his attacking instincts, really, isn't he, to help out. And I think Colin Todd must be having the problem now that all managers have got to have. He knows the team are doing well. They've got the crowd behind them. They're not disappointing anyone, really. But he's got to get a goal from somewhere. And shall he change it or not? That's his problem.
Well, I'm sure he'll be thinking about it now. Down on the bench, Colin Todd. In the meantime, it's a throw to Middlesbrough. A consultation there between two Old England favourites, David Nish and Colin Todd. Brennan's pass, trying to send Ripley on his way. Proctor. Now for Parkinson. Again, Middlesbrough spreading the play. McGee here. Disappointing ball in, though. Easily taken by Dave Besant. And McGee perhaps will be the man to come off if Middlesbrough make this change. But not for the moment, Ron, anyway. Kernahan to Parkinson. Davenport in some space here. Slaven has gone outside him, and the flag's up for offside. Much to the dismay of the Middlesbrough players and their supporters. But the flag was instinctively raised.
Yes, a little bit of an unnecessary run by Bernie Slaven there. We all like to see movement off the ball, but I would be a bit inclined every time Davenport's got the ball is to say leave him. Just leave him with the ball, leave him against the number 2. And for the likes of Bernie Slaven and Ripley, just take up box positions for when Davenport produces a cross or a pass into the box. That's one thing they have been light on, is getting enough bodies into the penalty box.
Chelsea edging their way towards winning the Zenith Cup. But it's certainly far from over yet. Cooper taking the throw then for Middlesbrough. We've had a lot of possession, especially in the second half, but still haven't found a way to goal. Nicholas on from Hall. Dixon's header on, no support with him. And Middlesbrough can start all over again. McGee. Caught in by Wilson. Illegally, so free kick to Barrett. Kernahan now. Ripley, they're appealing for offside, and it's given. Dave Shackwell and John Hilditch, the two linesmen today. Dury's header, straight to Cooper. Here's Bumstead, finding McAllister. There are now 11 minutes of this Zenith Cup final remaining. Slaven. Here's Kernahan. Again, Middlesbrough looking to step up the gear, step up the pace here. And the linesman is flagging, and Roger Milford has overruled him. The Middlesbrough players complaining. I think the linesman deciding there that Montcow had committed a foul, and the referee didn't agree. So for once, referee and linesman not in total accord. Dixon with Coleman. And how well he's played at the back, Simon Coleman. A player of enormous potential, signed to replace Gary Pallister, now at Old Trafford. Pallister, incidentally, here today working for local radio up on Teesside, sharing in Middlesbrough's day of glory. And it is a day of glory, whatever the result. They've done so well to get here, Middlesbrough, for the first time in the club's history, remember, contesting a Wembley final. Ten minutes to go.
When you say they've done well, Peter, as I say, in my book, they've been the best side, which I must admit, I came here expecting to see Chelsea have a very, very comfortable result. I really thought they would win fairly comfortably, to be fair. But as I say in my book, I made Middlesbrough the better side.
Comfortable, it certainly hasn't been for Chelsea, but they are still just one goal ahead, scored by Tony DeRigo in the first half. Dixon was again out-jumped. This time, though, he was ahead of Kernahan. Dixon from Parkinson's mistake. That pair's clinging on. Bumstead to Hall. The second goal could clinch it for Chelsea. McAllister. Dury's in the middle. Dixon's arriving too, and Wilson. McAllister's cross, away by Kernahan. Here's Wilson. Now DeRigo. Nicholas. Kevin Wilson. Parkinson. Well, Ron Atkinson, you have the honour today of selecting the man of the match. You can't have the bugler because we haven't seen him, so we'll ask you who you think you might be considering at this stage.
Well, I think the lad that's just played that back pass again to the keeper, Parkinson's, must be in the runners. He's been nice and calm. Here he's on the ball now. He hasn't been overawed by the occasion. He's used the ball very, very well, defended well. Davenport's been arguably the most inventive player on the field.
And they could do with some of his imagination now, could Middlesbrough. Here's Slaven. One sniff of a chance early on for Slaven, when he was denied by Peter Nicholas's challenge. Proctor finding McGee. Now then for Ripley. But still Middlesbrough very much on the attack. Brennan. Here's Davenport. He was looking to take on Gareth Hall. McGee down. Brennan.
had the feeling that was going to be a repeat of the Villa situation. It looks as if Ripley had set Brennan up, and he has got a fierce left foot, Brennan. Outstanding players, referring back to the Chelsea side. Monco, as you say, has had an excellent game. The skipper's done well for them. Nicholas has had a good game in the middle of midfield, just sitting there controlling.
And again, Laurie made the point earlier on that although Middlesbrough are having a lot of the play, they're not creating that many chances as such, and Chelsea do look pretty organised at the back, don't they?
That's right. I think Bernie Slevin will be particularly disappointed today. It hasn't been his game. Only one situation's really fallen his way. He didn't capitalise on it, and he hasn't had one of his better games this season.
But here, perhaps maybe an opportunity now. Cooper with the free kick. Moncal missed his header, or did he get a touch? No. So it's a goal kick to Chelsea, which will eat up a few more seconds for them. They certainly haven't controlled this final by any means, Chelsea. Colin Todd's team have got to find a goal from somewhere if Chelsea's name is not to go on the cup again. Winners of the full Members' Cup in the inaugural year back in '86. Are they on the verge now of winning it for the second time? 5-4 on the first occasion. They beat Manchester City in a thrilling final. Well, we haven't seen as many goals as that today, but we have seen a very eagerly contested game. And Middlesbrough still hoping. Arrigo's header. There are 5 minutes left now. It's Proctor. Or Parkinson, perhaps. Yes, Parkinson with the free kick for Middlesbrough. Kernahan has gone forward. Moncal away. And Brennan appealing for something. Not quite sure what. He didn't get it, whatever it was. But there's a real urgency about Middlesbrough now. Davenport, time beginning to run out for them. Good play by Proctor. It's a corner. Well, they've had fantastic support from their followers today, Middlesbrough. And they are really now making themselves heard around Wembley. Here's the corner. Dixon concedes another one. It's a time for cool heads in there among the Chelsea defenders. I shouldn't think Colin Todd's feeling too cool at the moment. Over everybody's heads. D'Arrigo. Well, partially cleared it though. McGee. And there was Coleman up there. And safely away from Chelsea's point of view for a goal kick. Simon Coleman making his presence felt in the penalty area, but unable to direct his header onto the target, and that really has been the story in the second half. A lot of possession from Middlesbrough, but they haven't extended Chelsea where it's mattered most. Parkinson guiding it back. Pears for another long kick upfield. Trying to find Ripley. McGee, beaten though by Nicholas. The captain's role from Nicholas in midfield for Chelsea. Johnson. Whistles from the Middlesbrough fans. Chelsea know they're almost there. D'Arrigo. On then from Nicholas. Kernahan was giving it away. Here's Dixon. Wilson had made the run. Dixon didn't find him. There are now just 2 minutes left in this final of the Zenith Cup. Bobby Campbell's team with one hand on the trophy. Coleman forward. Proctor now. Here's McGee. And towards Ripley. And here's Davenport, but no, Hall in there first. And Chelsea, as the sun shines really strongly now around Wembley, can come away. Not too far though. Here's Proctor. Ripley chasing.